If you're looking for the cheapest and most reliable Madden 22 coins on the market, check out my sponsor, MMOEXPR.com. Links are in the description, and use code JEDI at checkout for 5% off. Alrighty, hey there guys, Adrian Costa here, KJ95, coming at you guys with another video. So today, guys, it is going to be my updated best offensive abilities for Madden 22. As you guys do know, we did get an AP update recently, but if you have been living under a rock or you just have not been paying attention, which is fine, you know, you have other things to do, EA dropped an AP update on Wednesday, and overall, the game has gotten a little bit better. The only changes they made to offense were that they upped Escape Artist by 5 AP on all quarterbacks, and they made Edge Protector they upped Edge Protector +1 on all offensive linemen. Now, obviously, you know, with that being said, obviously there's been going to be a few changes to the game that I think, you know, for abilities that you could definitely rock for offense. So let's start right away. Before we do, guys, actually, let me just go on and say that a lot of you guys are watching these videos but are not subscribed. I believe about 90% of the people who watch my videos are not subscribed. So if you could be a nice person and, you know, make me keep me going on YouTube, my apologies. And subscribe real quick, that would be greatly appreciated. Also hit the like button if you guys are enjoying these videos. On the last Seahawks team lineup update, you guys went absolutely nuts. It was my best performing video out of the last 10, with about 35 views, give or take, and about 7-8 likes. So I appreciate everybody who did watch and subscribed and all that stuff. So but if you haven't done so already, please do. That would be greatly appreciated. So we're going to break these up for abilities into 4 different categories. We're going to go quarterback, running back, pass catchers, and offensive linemen. So we're going to start with quarterback, obviously the most important position in the entire game. So for me personally, Gunslinger and Pass Lead Elite are the 2 best passing abilities in the entire game. Obviously, if you can afford it, go with Gunslinger. Or if you have a quarterback that has a bad release, like one of the worst releases, like for example, Baker Mayfield has a really bad release. I think Lamar Jackson also has one of the worst in the entire game. If you have one of those guys that takes a while for it to wind up and throw the ball, definitely go with Gunslinger, because it will help you get those faster throwing animations, and it will allow you to get the ball out quicker. But if you have somebody that has like traditional 1 or Jared Eric 3, like I do with Russell Wilson, go with Pass Lead Elite. I think Pass Lead Elite is just as good and Gunslinger in the right situations, and Pass Lead Elite obviously is half the cost. So obviously that extra 3 AP is going to allow you to get some other abilities like Route Tech. Maybe it'll allow you to get a Deep Out Elite, some offensive line abilities if you want, you know, just stuff of that nature, just to realistically, you know, help, you know, keep your passing game going as the best as you can, while at the same time not sacrificing too much AP. Also for abilities, Roaming Deadeye and Long Range Deadeye are the 2 best Deadeyes in the entire game. I personally think Long Range Deadeye is better. I think, you know, having that ability to get all perfect accuracy on all deep passes, even on passes that are in the pocket or on the run, Long Range Deadeye, in my opinion, is the absolute best. I was rocking it until the most recent AP change because I really did enjoy Long Range Deadeye, but now I've gone to another ability, which I'll talk about here in a minute. But Roaming Deadeye is also really good, but the problem with Roaming Deadeye that makes it not as good for me compared to Long Range is that Roaming Deadeye is standing outside the pocket. Now, there is a glitch where you can let go of right trigger before you throw the ball, and it'll give you a perfect pass accuracy on the run and treat it like a dashing Deadeye. But with Long Range Deadeye, it's basically the same thing. It's in the pocket. It works in the pocket as well, and it's 1 AP less, right? So I would definitely rather do that than have, you know, the one that's in this. I would rather have the complete package with less AP than a very good ability that only works on a specific situation, right? Identifier, I love Identifier, but I no longer can justify the 2 AP for it. But on field general quarterbacks, it is 1 AP. So if you have a field general quarterback and you want to see who your opponent's user is, definitely pick this ability up. I think it is a very good ability for 1 AP. Seeing just who your opponent is using, I can really help out so much, give you a lot of information pre-snap that you definitely could use. So there is that with Identifier. Also Fearless. Now this is the other ability I'm rocking on my Russell Wilson, as you can see right here. Fearless is the other ability I use. This ability I cannot recommend enough. I have been very high on this ability for basically the entire year. I think it is the most underrated ability in this entire game. Giving you perfect pass accuracy while standing in the pocket and making you immune to defensive pressure. especially with the rise of Edge Threat Elite potentially coming, which I'll touch on Edge Threat Elite when we get to the defensive side. But having that extra protection against the under pressures or the Edge Threat Elites, giving you that extra protection, in my opinion, is so valuable. Now, you could definitely argue that you don't need it if you have a high throw under pressure. I went over the Mutt League's deep dive for the coaching for the game coding and whatnot that they put out like a few weeks ago. And one of the things they had was at 95 throw under pressure, you basically are immune. Like you very rarely get any under pressure penalties, which is good because obviously that means throw under pressure is one of those ratings that does matter. So when it comes to Fearless, it's one of those abilities where I definitely would use it, but I feel like, and I do think it is underrated. However, I'm personally one of those people that, wasn't going to use it that much until I started using it. I really didn't think, what I'm trying to say is I didn't think much of it until I used it. And then I was like, you know what, this is actually really good. Now, even beforehand, I was using it because Russell Wilson's throw under pressure at the time when I was using it was like an 87 or an 88. So obviously it was helping out significantly. But, having that under pressure safety blanket is always just very, very good. Escape Artist, if you want to pay the 10 AP for Escape Artist, I still think it is the best ability in the game by far, especially on new gen. Now, I am on old gen. I don't play on new gen, so obviously Escape Artist isn't that good on new gen. And obviously, 10 AP for an ability that isn't that good, people aren't going to pay that. So obviously, no one's going to use it on this gen. But on next gen, definitely, if you can justify it, I wouldn't though, because that is a lot of AP that you're spending for your quarterback. You're basically spending 13 AP on your quarterback for two abilities. I think that's crazy. And I think it's only a matter of time before people start to realize that you cannot justify this ability plus pass elite because, you can't justify it. You cannot sit there and justify it because it's just too much. It's just too much AP to have on your team. So anyways, one last ability that I want to talk about is Hot Route Master. If you are a person that likes the Hot Route, go ahead and go nuts. I personally have never been a Hot Route Master person. I've never really been one to want to utilize Hot Routes because with my play calls, what I like to do is I just like to call play calls designed to beat the coverage you like to stay in. Obviously, if you're staying in stock man coverage, I'm just going to call man coverage man beating plays, like mesh concepts, some whip routes, some deep ins, some flood concepts, just certain things that are beating certain routes. Obviously, so I don't need the hot routes, but obviously having those extra ones, if you are a person that needs them, I would definitely recommend it. However, I would only recommend it if you're hot route. If you find yourself hot routing, I want to say above 30% of the time. If you are someone who likes the hot route 30 plus % of the time, then I would definitely go nuts. But other than that, I wouldn't recommend Hot Route Master ever. So that's what I think for quarterbacks. Running backs, now running backs is more archetype dependent. It all just depends on the abilities that you want to run. So for elusive backs, obviously, they're the hybrid mix between power back and, receiving back, and they're also really good at making a man miss. So jukebox is really good. 1 AP for those incredible jukes definitely is something you can definitely utilize. If I had the spare AP, I probably would put 1 jukebox on. Backfield Master, though, in my opinion, is the best running back ability in the entire game. More hot routes and improved catching from the backfield, guys. The only reason I have this ability is because of the halfback angle routes. Those halfback angle routes are very good at beating man coverage. It is very hard. It's even very hard to user it because you cannot keep up with the angle route out of the backfield consistently. And not many people, if ever, put short route KO on one of their sub linebackers. So that angle route is going to be open 99% of the time. There are going to be times where the running back won't get open. But even then, get that improved catching and also that better route running too, because this actually does not mention that, but it also does give you improved route running too. So those basic out routes from the running back, that gets open quite a bit. Obviously, I've been using Backfield Master for the last few days, and I cannot recommend it enough. It has definitely helped me out significantly against people who love to play man. It is just so good. Backfield mismatch. Also, if you have a quarterback with hot route master, go with backfield mismatch, because basically it's the same thing as backfield master, but the only difference is the backfield mismatch doesn't give you the hot routes. It just gives you the better route running and the better catching, whereas backfield master will give you all of that and the hot routes. But so I would definitely go backfield mismatch if you want to get that extra, if you want to save that extra AP, if you have a hot route master quarterback, or if you want to just save an extra AP and just change up your play calling. Because, you probably will, you'll find routes in your playbook that have those angle routes for your running back. But obviously, the other thing too is the stock out route for the running back is automatically put in. It's not like you have to hot route with it. The out routes and the in routes are automatically in the running back's hot routes. So you definitely can do that. You can definitely put the backfield mismatch on them and save that 1 AP for backfield master. I would definitely recommend that if you are somebody that wants to do that, but obviously also on a receiving backfield master is 1 AP, so obviously keep that in mind. But that's it for basically elusive backs. Just those abilities. For power backs though, there's a couple of abilities that I would recommend for you to try. First is Bulldozer. Obviously being able to get better truck animations just to punch over people and, make them put them on the ground crying like a little bitch. That shit is fun. I'm just kidding, but you get the point. Bulldozer is really fun. It's a really good ability. Also, Bruiser is pretty good too. It does give you, it's the combination, like with Backfield Master, it's a combination of two abilities. Because Backfield Master also gives you Running Back Apprentice as well, which is another ability I would recommend if you don't have. If you want the better route, if you want the hot routes but not the better route running, obviously get Running Back Apprentice if you can afford it. Bruiser gives you better armbar and Bulldozer at the same time. Human Joystick also is a very good one on all backs. It does go on all backs, not just on elusive backs, but on receiving backs and power backs. So I would definitely recommend a Human Joystick. On current gen only, next gen is not very good. In fact, on next gen it's just straight up awful. So it is what it is with that, unfortunately. But Human Joystick on current gen is very, 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 very good. And then the last one is Tank. I would definitely recommend Tank if you're starting your starting back is a power back. Because a lot of people love their hit sticks on this game. Like it's crazy to me how many people just love to hit stick players to try and force fumbles, and Tank will break those hit stick tackles and allow you to keep on truck and keep on going. So I can't recommend hit Tank enough for that specific situation. But overall, that's what I think for backs. Now let's move on to pass catchers. Now pass catchers. In my opinion, it depends on for the type of player. So pass catchers for wide receivers, obviously Route Tech is the best, especially if you can get it on a route runner. It is 2 AP. Route Tech is just so good. Quicker cuts while running routes, can just fry man coverage, can just, especially on corner routes, on crossing routes, drag routes, great routes that are very solid at beating man coverage, even slants in certain cases if you do a motion slant. Route Tech is just very good at beating up those man coverage routes. Another one I would recommend is Slot-O-Matic. Now, I would definitely put this on a slot receiver if you have it. However, this is actually also 2 AP on route runners. So if you have a route runner playing as your slot receiver, I would say go ahead and put on a Slot-O-Matic, because this is basically Route Tech with a combination of short in and out elite. This will break on those routes in the slot, and will also give you better catching. So overall, Slot-O-Matic does a lot of good things for your team, and I definitely would recommend one Slot-O-Matic on your team for your slot receiver. Obviously, if you have a slot receiver, then you can add a Slot Apprentice as well, which actually leads me to the next abilities, which is Slot Apprentice. Slot Apprentice, in my opinion, is just by far and away the best hot route ability in the entire game. Just by far and away, just the routes you get out of Slot Apprentice is just so great. The corner routes, the post route, the crossing route, and there's genuinely one more that I cannot remember. It's corner, post. I can't remember the last slot route, but Slot Apprentice just gives you so many great routes. It's just by far and away the best. Obviously, the next best thing is Wide Receiver Apprentice. I would say this is better because obviously you get the outside apprentice routes. However, I would definitely use this, but if you have a slot apprentice, go with the slot apprentice because it is 1 AP on those guys. The last one I want to focus on is Deep Out Elite. Deep Out Elite better catch, improved catching on deep passes outside the numbers. And on current gen, I don't know if it's that way I don't know if it's this way on next gen. I'm almost certain it is though, because I haven't used that. I haven't really utilized these ability, the short out and short in elites in a while. But on current gen, if the route that the player is running breaks and in the time that it takes to get the catching to activate, it will act like a route tech. So for example, on deep out elite, if you're running a deep post route, if the player is once the player breaks for the post, it will light up like route tech and it will get you that separation for man coverage. Now, personally, I wouldn't go that far. I would either still just use route tech, but on deep threat wide receivers, obviously because their route tech is absolutely too much AP, it's like 3 or 4 AP for them. I think it's 3. Deep out elite is obviously just the best. It's just the best for them, but obviously route tech is still supreme. One last one I want to highlight is matchup nightmare. I would throw this in as an honorable mention for abilities, but I would only recommend putting this on physical wide receivers because it is the cheapest AP. And on current gen, it does activate like route tech as well. I've used it on Brandon Marshall recently, and it does work like route tech, and it also lights up like it's basically all of the in and out elites. Like it'll give you all the better catching wherever on the field. Don't matter if it's short, long, medium. It don't matter. Like it'll activate. So, but I would only recommend it on physicals. Other than that, if you got a slot receiver, go with Slot-O-Matic. If you got a route runner, go with route tech. And if you got a deep threat wide receiver, just do deep out elite. So that's what I would recommend for pass catchers. Obviously, you could throw in tight end apprentice and red zone threats in there because tight end apprentice, it gives you all the great routes too, like crossers, corners, trails, and posts. Those are really good routes, but it's 2 AP. And that's one of the reasons I don't run these abilities, because it is 2 AP. But in your scheme, if you have the ability to afford it, go nuts. And then red zone threat. Now, I have not been able to get this to work consistently. I don't know why, but red zone threat, if you can find a way to get it to work, go nuts. But red zone threat, I can't get it to work for consistently, so I wouldn't recommend it. But red zone threat can be very good, especially if you're high pointing the ball into the red zone. Lastly, we'll go with offensive linemen. They're all the same. They really don't have anything different. So identifier, obviously, if you can afford it, for 2 AP, pick it up. But I don't know why you didn't bring this down to 1 AP. So, but identifier, obviously, it's just highlights your opponent's user. Post up, if I could recommend one post up, if you can afford it, I would put it on one post up onto your center. But if you can't afford 2, I would put it on your guards. Just having that double to get those dominant double team blocks, especially on your center, can help with your pass rush, can help with your pass protection. To prevent 3-man rushes from getting from splitting your double teams up the middle. Also can help you in the run game, in the inside run zone game, to help push the inside stuff guy back a little bit more, so that way he can't shed consistently. You also have other things like Polar Elite. Now, I don't know how good Polar Elite is. I knew it was really good last year, but I've never actually used this, so it is what it is. But if Polar Elite is really good, let me know in the comments, guys, because I've never actually used this. And then lastly, guys, the final ability, Edge Protector. I would still recommend it if you can afford it. However, me personally, I don't think it's worth paying 4 AP for 2 Edge Protectors. I just think that's a little bit much, even for me now. So it is what it is with that, guys. But that is going to do it for my best offensive abilities, guys. There was a lot that we went over, but the game has changed quite a bit because of this AP update with all the new changes to like things like Escape Artist and stuff like that. So. And it kind of fucked with my offense too, because with the Edge Protector increase, obviously it did mess me up a little. So, but that's going to be it for the video, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy. Hit the like button if you did enjoy, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And with that, I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm out. Peace.